Democratic Party and the Socialist Movement for Integration demand the transcripts from the meeting of the Security Commission last year to be made public. According to the majority, the Democratic Party and the chairman of the CEC have violated the law on decriminalisation in an attempt to protect the mayor of Malakastra. During a meeting with some of the ministers today, representatives of foreign investors demanded reforms. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, the 8th of November 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, bringing you the day's national top stories translated into English 6 days a week. 7 members of the Democratic Party and the Socialist Movement for Integration have sent a letter to the President, Ilir Meta, demanding the discussion of the meeting of the National Security Council held on November 11, 2016 to be made public. The members of the opposition demand for the reports by the relevant institutions regarding the data on the fight against drugs to be published in order to compare them to the current results. The DP MPs argue that there is a high level of sensitivity regarding the situation created in the country, where high-ranking officials have been included in drug trafficking investigations and, above all, after the media scandal regarding the Habilai file. The members of the DP and SMI expressed that it is in the public's interest to be informed regarding the data acquired on November 11, 2016, and the engagement of the institutions and the government in the fight against drugs. At the time of the meeting of the National Security Council held on November 11, 2016, the Prime Minister was on a diplomatic visit to the US and was represented by Deputy Prime Minister Nico Pelesi. After the DP and SMI announced their demands to the President Meta, the former Deputy Prime Minister declared that this case has been politically influenced and warned that he would compose a strategy to fight any allegations of misconduct. Officials from the American Federal Bureau of Investigation met with the Director of Albanian Police, Haki Çako, a day after it was announced the initiation of the national operation, the Power of Law. The meeting focused on discussions for the fight against organised crime and drug trafficking. The representatives of the FBI, Jack Liao and Mark Newhouse, expressed that they expect positive results from the collaboration with the Albanian State Police in the fight against terrorism, drug cultivation and trafficking. The meeting confirmed the willingness of the American officials to help the Albanian police in the fight against organised crime, and especially against financial crimes such as illegal money transfers and assets acquired via criminal activity. Çako thanked the FBI officials and expressed that their experience will serve as a way to assist Albania in the best ways to strike and to bring the structured criminal groups to justice. Later, the FBI officials met with the Director of the Department for Investigation of Organised and Serious Crimes, Idayet Farskay. The FBI delegation will continue a series of meetings during the next days with other Albanian officials. At the meeting of the Commission on Law today, the Socialists, Democrats and members from the SMI fiercely debated the allocation of funds in the new budget for the General Prosecution Office. Despite strong conflicting opinions from all sides, members from all parties were eventually able to agree on the appropriate fund to be allocated. The prosecution has expressed its satisfaction with the fund, though all justice institutions persist with their request to increase staffing levels. We are very pleased with the budget presented by the Ministry of Finance, but we do request the government to grow our human resourcing capacity by a further 58 employees. Also, the DP and SMI jointly accused MP Ulsi Manya of a conflict of interest following accusations he made the day before regarding the prosecution. You, Mr. Manya, and the Socialist Party MPs are openly in a conflict of interest because you openly criticise the work of the prosecution, said DP MP Lurata Chupi. We must decide today if we stand on the side of the prosecution or the side of crime. We, as the opposition, are agreeing to your budgets and your human resourcing requirements to ensure they can do their job. All we are getting in return are rags because of all the politicians in power who are related to crime. The leader of this session should be here after the accusations made regarding the prosecution yesterday, added DP MP Edward Halimi. Do not tell me what I can and cannot say, okay? You are here to talk about the budget. You are on the side of crime, whereas I am on the side of righteousness, retorted Manya. Despite the harsh debates, both the majority and opposition came to an agreement regarding the funding needed by the General Prosecution. I have said we will add a further 10 employees to the General Prosecution from January 1. Their responsibilities will be to deal with all things politically related, not only with us in Parliament, but also with public administration, declared the Socialist MP Bashkim Fino. We are absolutely in agreement to give the prosecution all that it needs to ensure it can drive a final division between crime and politics once and for all, said DP MP Halimi. The budget for the General Prosecution in 2018 is predicted to be 164 million lek. The Socialist MPs in the Investigative Commission regarding the CEC case have demanded the prosecution complete its investigations into the case. The chairman of the Socialist Party's parliamentary group, Balla, claims that the prosecutors are asking to close the case without completing a full investigation and without questioning any of the accused. According to Balla, the prosecution is operating with double standards and as a militant of politics. SP MP Balla said that in the CEC case, the prosecution should have recorded the declarations of the individuals as decided by the Parliament with 74 votes in favour. How is it possible that there are prosecutors who can think that they can close corruption cases without conducting any investigations? Who are these prosecutors who think that they have the right not to take into consideration the decisions of the Parliament of Albania? The double standards of the prosecution are compromising the institution, which is being used by the opposition in the desperate fight for power, declared Balla. The Socialist Member of Parliament also said the justice reform is coming and warned the prosecutors that they will lose their place in the system. Soon, the justice reform will be implemented and all these prosecutors and judges who have decided to ally with corruption and crime will not have a place in the new system, added Balla. In September, the prosecution requested the court to close the CEC case due to the fact that there is no evidence indicating criminal activity. The court is expected to decide on the request on November 24. For the majority, the Democratic Party and the chairman of the Central Election Commission, Clement Zguri, have violated the law on decriminalization in an attempt to protect the mayor of Malakastra. MP Ferhati called on the DP chairman, Balla, not to act with double standards and to hold a public discussion regarding Kapllanaj. According to MP Ferhati, the CEC head, Zguri, has breached the deadline set out under the decriminalization law. As a result, the Socialist Party has filed an appeal on the Agron Kapllanaj file, requesting the Constitutional Court to overturn the CEC's decision and terminate the mandate of Kapllanaj. Lulzim Balla continues to act as an investigator, prosecutor and journalist, yet he cannot explain why he continues to defend the mayor of Malakastra. Kapllanaj is in violation of Balla's most beloved decriminalization law. Balla has once again deceived the Democrats. He claims to be on a mission for justice, but he and his party are drowning in this story without hope for a breath. It is Prime Minister Edi Rama and his majority who have given the example of exclusion and submission to justice bodies for all individuals accused of acting illegally. Regarding the accusations by the DP against the state police, the SPMP considers them to be helpless pleas from a desperate man. The Socialist Party member, Clotilda Ferhati, concluded by reiterating that the Democratic Party are displaying double standards in regards to the application of the decriminalization law. The foreign investors demand Albania improves the business climate in the country. During a meeting with some of the ministers today, representatives of foreign investors demanded reforms, especially in the agricultural sector. The government representatives promised they would take all necessary measures to change the situation. Albania must continue the reforms in order to create an environment more attractive to foreign investors. The representative of the Organisation of Foreign Investors in Albania, Silvio Pedrazi, said that reforms are necessary, especially in the agricultural sector, in which foreign investors currently have zero interest. We are willing to do our part, but we demand the environment for businesses become friendlier. I want to remind you that we are the best ambassadors for promoting and attracting new investments. Right now, investors are not very interested in agriculture, but if you implement structural reforms in the sector, this might change, declared Silvio Pedrazi. Minister of Infrastructure and Energy, Damian Jiknori, guaranteed the fulfilment of contractual obligations. The Minister of Agriculture also promised solutions for problems with foreign investments. Some of the main problems in Albania that concern foreign investments are the bureaucracies of the administration, the fiscal system, problems with property ownership and corruption. That's all for our English edition this evening. My name is Alexandra. Please join me again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. On behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.